evening, viewers. Welcome to the Diamond Newsdesk at 8. We give you details as seen on diamondtvzambia.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, it's Diamond TV Online, and on X, Diamond TV Zambia. Coming up, the headlines. And now the headlines. President Hakainde Hichilema projects highest yield in Zambia's history, urges mindset shift and system reform. Investigation into Banana House fire that killed 3 children delayed, pending family input. Also coming up, Citizens Pharmaceuticals chairman accuses US of pushing unverified drug theft narrative. I'll be back shortly with the details.
This is Diamond Newsdesk at 8 with Tokozile Malao.
And now the news in detail. President Hakainde Hichilema has projected Zambia's highest ever agricultural harvest, crediting favorable rains during the 2024 to 2025 farming season and a strategic policy shift following last year's severe drought. Speaking at a Thanksgiving service for God's favor, rains, and the farming season held at the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross in Lusaka, the president attributed the positive outlook to both divine intervention and key lessons learned from the recent national disaster. President Hichilema emphasized the government's renewed focus on irrigation farming, noting that Zambia must move beyond dependence on seasonal rainfall and become a year-round agricultural producer. And in a move to strengthen agricultural accountability, the president revealed that over 200,000 individuals had been removed from the Farmer Input Support Program FISP after being linked to a scam. He said the cleanup exercise is meant to ensure that only genuine farmers benefit from government subsidies.
I hear more cattle on this side. We worked with NGOs, we worked with the international organizations to mobilize resources, to mobilize food, so we could then use the channels that we devised or indeed took advantage of in order to deliver food to the most hit areas. So we thank God for that. If we didn't appreciate God's hand in that, then this day would be a miss. So then we all made a clarion call to pray for rains, so that the drought we experienced then does not repeat itself. And God answers graciously, as always. He answered. Knock on the door, ask, and they shall be given. This is what we're here to thank Him for, opening the doors, answering our prayers, and He gave us the rains. Many farmers, including myself, and him, as he preached, confirmed that we are wondering, should we plant or it will be another loss? I remember this fellow here standing, encouraging citizens, farmers, not to lose heart. I even encouraged urban people that even kumbuyo kwa nganda mungashange tungono chabe mutamu. And truly, with God's gift of rain, farmers responded. Micro farmers, small-scale farmers, medium-sized farmers, large-scale farmers. We even went to the commercial farmers who had come out of growing maize because maize was unprofitable. We reached out to them to come back to maize, our staple food. And planting was done. As we see today, we are projecting that we'll probably have the highest harvest ever. We must thank God.
Now, investigations into the fire that killed 3 children in Lusaka's Kabanana compound remain on hold. Lusaka City Council Assistant Public Relations Manager Wulu Mbanyambe says the fire brigade is unable to begin its inquiry as they await the availability of the bereaved family members who are key to establishing the cause of the blaze. The tragic incident occurred on Friday, 2nd May, when a house caught fire while children were home alone.
Last Tuesday, the country rallied behind the Piri family who laid to rest their 3 young children, victims of a tragic house fire that gutted their home in Kabanana compound. The emotional burial drew mourners from across Lusaka, including community members, church leaders, and civic representatives, all united in grief and solidarity. Tiny coffins were lowered into the ground as relatives and friends struggled to hold back tears, still grappling with the painful loss. As the family continues to mourn, authorities say investigations into the cause of the fire remain on hold. And Lusaka City Council Assistant Public Relations Manager Wulu Mbanyambe says the fire brigade cannot proceed until the family is ready to assist with the process.
The council's investigation into the fire is ongoing, but has currently stalled due to the unavailability of the affected family. A team of our officers was sent to the house to examine the scene and gather information, where they physically examined the scene and interviewed neighbors. However, the father to the 3 children who died in the tragic has not yet been interviewed to provide crucial details about the events leading up to the fire. Specifically, we would like him to confirm how he left the house with children inside, the status of the power supply, and also provide, details just about the tins of paint that were in the sitting room. Unfortunately, the investigation is on hold because the mother is in the hospital and the father is, disoriented with grief, making it impossible for us to conduct a meaningful interview.
For now, the cause of the fire that claimed the lives of the 3 siblings on Friday, 2nd May 2025 has not been yet established. The council says it will resume its investigations once the family is able to participate, as they currently wish to give them space to grieve their loved ones. Elfimale Champande, Diamond News.
A growing human-elephant conflict has left residents of Kamwe village in Kazungula district without water after stray elephants damaged a solar-powered water system. The elephants, believed to have wandered from Mosiotunya National Park in search of water due to drying streams, destroyed the system that served numerous households. Community members are now calling for increased wildlife patrols to prevent further damage and ensure residents' safety. Experts had earlier warned of increased elephant migration and urged communities to remain vigilant, particularly at night.
This solar-powered water system has been a valuable resource for many households in one of Kazungula areas facing water challenges. The system includes a pump and a 5,000-litre capacity tank to support the community and enhance their livelihoods. For livestock, the intention was for owners to pump water and provide feed using this source. However, many streams that typically supplied water for animals have dried up, leading elephants to seek water from this facility. Unfortunately, this has resulted in damage to the system, creating access challenges for the community.
Mbula amanda akede afi bantu kuteka manzi kwakaba koleka kuteka manzi so kujanika kuti eti olochindi mwalanga kuside kuri ground so i ground awa ma players tindi ndiwo mabola kujanika kutiti manzi ko kujana manzi kwa kalamba
zirenda kufumwana kwa masiku sikati zirenda so twa mtu karafu ifi atudamo twa manzi so jabana manzi takwezira inka amanda kunjira na mu kitchen kunywa manzi kunaza ndamba kwina popwezira ngundu ngana ziwezo tupopoza chitabuti zyaria so takumbeweza bazoweze nzovuzi yabo.
Herbert Makole is senior headman of this area and has called for wildlife patrols from the Department of National Parks and Wildlife to help mitigate human-wildlife conflicts.
Bantu bachunwenda mukuyo akambugenzo oledo andagatambula report yoguti kwa chilango chaka kulia zishuzi abantu magati ejo kiterete then inzovu businyi bwazyo mboguti iyi tulizi kuti nzovu zipanga mali mu kisibati now ayo mali ngizipanga nzovu tagwasirija kuba nta.
With the malfunctioning water system, residents now face longer distances to reach communal water points. Gabriel Smova, Diamond News, Southern Zambia.
Now, chairman of citizens-owned pharmaceuticals in Zambia, Galan Sichilima, has called on U.S. Ambassador to Zambia, Mark Gonzalez, to publicly release the raw findings of a recent U.S.-led investigation into the alleged theft and diversion of medicines in Zambia. Speaking on Diamond TV's Costa program, Mr. Sichilema strongly questioned the credibility of the report, describing it as lacking in transparency and accuracy. He labeled the investigation as fraudulent and claimed it does not reflect the realities within Zambia's pharmaceutical sector. He accused the U.S. of promoting an unverified narrative that could harm public confidence in Zambia's health system, warning that such claims have serious implications for national institutions and service delivery. Central to Mr. Sichilema's challenge is the report's claim that over 2,000 pharmacies across the country were assessed. He argued that Zambia has just over 1,000 registered pharmacies, calling the figure grossly exaggerated.
So the approach really, for example, in this case is what we have discussed. Government will quickly have to move in and ensure there is a dedicated supply chain for these particular critical commodities, because it's not something you can afford patients going without even for a day, right? That's the first thing. The second thing, on the international spectrum, right, it is important, right, that we have a conversation around the facts surrounding the survey. That's the only time, because people will need facts. Otherwise, it's one-sided story, and that story is that 95% of us are thieves. So we will need facts, and therefore it is just justifiable that the ones who have raised these allegations, the American embassy, must do the publication of the source of that information, so that we have a fair chance as Zambians to interrogate that, and then we can take it up with these other donors. Obviously, the government, through their diplomatic channels, I'm not sure how they do it, but I'm sure those conversations would be going. But really, for me, what is important is not about impressing donors. It's about ownership of our systems. It's about sustainability of our systems. It's about growth of our economy, so that we can be able to provide for our own people, and therefore no one can point fingers at us when something goes wrong. When we grow enough of our people, we support them, and they're able to pay enough to our tax collectors, we are able to spend nicely on our health. We don't have to get into an argument when somebody says, I'm pulling out. In fact, like I said earlier on, donor is what it is. Donor money is free.
You can watch more of this interview at 21:15 hours, just after the Diamond Newsdesk. We take our first set of commercials. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, United Party for National Development UPND Media Director Mark Simuwe has disclosed that the Zambian government has recovered over 23 billion kwacha through its fight against corruption. Speaking at a press briefing held at the UPND Secretariat in Lusaka, Mr. Simuwe said this achievement has been made possible through the establishment of the Economic and Financial Crimes Court. He noted that the recovery of the said amount is a clear indication that the UPND government is committed to fighting corruption, adding that this has also boosted investor confidence. And Mr. Simuwe further stated that the newly commissioned Copperbelt Water Project by President Hakainde Hichilema is expected to transform the lives of over 1 million Zambians across several districts.
In 2021, just a few months after President Hakainde Hichilema won the general election against the incumbent Edgar Lungu, he vowed to fight corruption. His then Minister of Justice, Mlambo Haimbe, promised that the government would implement legal reforms, including the establishment of the Economic and Financial Crimes Court, a fast-track court designed to handle financial crimes within an estimated period of 5 months. The court has since judged several former cabinet ministers and others connected to the political elite who were found guilty of acquiring properties reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime. Addressing the press on Sunday, May 11, 2025, United Party for National Development UPND Media Director Mark Simuwe disclosed that so far the government has recovered over 23 billion kwacha in its fight against corruption.
As you may be aware, regardless of what you may see on social media, the fight against corruption has improved. I want to justify that. Number one, the justification is in what most of these people who give us money are saying. They are saying you need to look at the cost of investigating corruption versus the money or returns that you get. And we are on course. Millions of kwacha have been recovered. So what did the UPND do different, which makes us believe this fight against corruption has improved? We had to include or establish through statutory institutions the fast-track court, the Economic and Financial Crimes Court. And that is expeditiously handling all economic and financial related cases, meaning corruption is a financial crime. Are we together? So that is how we have scored. Those are the millions you've been seeing. Over 23 billion recovered. That's not little money. That's money which could have been lost belonging to the people of Zambia.
Shifting from the topic of corruption, Mr. Simuwe also highlighted the recent commissioning of the $449 million Kafula Water Project by President Hakainde Hichilema, emphasizing some of its benefits.
Having done the feasibility study, government was very sure that this particular project would benefit 17,000 households, new connections made to 17,000 households. Underline that. New connections. That's not a small number. Secondly, understanding that this particular project would benefit Mpongwe, Masaiti, Luansha, and Ndola, 4 districts. It meant that the benefits are vast.
The briefing did not conclude without Mr. Simuwe addressing the recent liberations by the U.S. government regarding the withdrawal of aid following the alleged theft of drugs. Darius John, Diamond News.
At just 24 years old, Daliso Piri is now a certified addiction counselor, helping others walk the same difficult path he once did. His story began at age 13 when he unknowingly smoked a heroin-laced cigarette, a moment of peer pressure that spiraled into years of addiction to heroin, codeine, and cocaine. The struggle led him to drop out of school and live on the streets. Daliso's turning point came in 2023, inspired by a friend who had successfully completed rehabilitation. With support from Sanity House, a local rehab center, he began his journey to recovery. We have more in the following report by Nicole Namwinga.
At just 13 years of age, Daliso Piri took his first drug of what he thought was a regular cigarette, but was laced with heroin, an act to a dark path of addiction to various drugs that made him drop out of school and caused him to live on the streets. By the time he was 17, Daliso was caught in a circle of disappearances and drug dependency. But in 2023, everything changed when his friend, who had just completed rehab, introduced him to Sanity House, a place Daliso now calls his second home.
My stay at Sanity House was the best I ever experienced from the time that I started my addiction. I mean, there's nothing more welcoming than Sanity House. I usually come here because I feel at home every time I come back. Even right now, I feel at home. I'm at peace because there's a bundle of joy that I just have once I enter the gate.
Now 2.5 years clean, Daliso works as a certified addiction counselor at the same rehab center that helped him reclaim his life.
A place I'm supposed to recover mentally and physically. I also did recover emotionally and spiritually, because all the programs are tailored for people to find their true selves. And we had various activities from morning till 18 where we would do physical exercises.
Meanwhile, the co-founder of Sanity House, Daniel Mbazima, says the battle against substance abuse remains a concern in communities and women, particularly those in menopause.
We've seen a number of women, the menopause era, those are the ones that are abusing substances even more now. So those are some of the things that we are getting to experience, and that's a growing concern as well. In the family struggling with an addiction, we need to get together, and it requires for collective, collaborative efforts in order to fight substance abuse.
Mr. Mbazima also added that while peer mentorship and collaboration with churches, government bodies, and therapists have made a difference, the limited capacity of rehab centers and high treatment costs are major setbacks. However, he believes stories like Daliso's recovery is possible with the right support. Nicole Namwinga for Diamond News.
Now, truck drivers and other road users have called on the Road Development Agency RDA to urgently repair the Mazaboga-Monze Road, citing its severely deteriorated condition and rising accident risk. The appeal comes after a serious accident on Friday that nearly claimed the lives of 4 people. Commuters have raised concern over the continued delay in addressing the road's dangerous potholes, despite an increase in accidents in recent months. Speaking during the commissioning of a toll plaza construction project along the Great North Road in Mazaboga, RDA Southern Province Engineer Namalala Jilala confirmed that rehabilitation works on the Mazaboga-Monze stretch would begin soon, though he did not specify when. Engineer Jilala stated that the most damaged sections would be fully reconstructed, while less affected areas would undergo partial repairs to improve road safety and durability.
Mazaboga-Monze Road has recorded an accident which was attributed to large sharp potholes and almost claimed 4 lives last Friday. Survivors have recounted what transpired.
So tukamwambia msali child juicy mbozuza urode linyongene agamba tukwina chomuganya kundambira mebonda katalika indimwe ya mota, and after that into kainda mumonze Mazaboga Road there ili kwide maningira ma potholes, then agamba to driver mebo ndameza kuchita pay mode.
We had advised the driver to reduce speed due to the poor condition of the road. However, as he attempted to overtake 2 trucks, he lost control and an accident occurred.
Zina balance, so truck him mbiaga tienobo mbiaga foreigner, then tukaba admitted ku Mazaboga hospital abenzuma bambi but mbondi gabo tumutokala mu mushure mu trucking wala habit move ombo oyo musankwali register the maningi, then bamba bakali kumbere bakali banjelewa about 6 as well.
and road users have urgently appealed to government for swift intervention on the Mazabuka-Monze stretch, calling it a death trap.
Choka Mazabuka to Monze abapakati load siri mushe each and every day mpezekati station yako bamene siku nikapoti yagwa mpezekati yagwa zapeza mzako abwela na akuyashira ma flashlight yali full beam and then yokuti ukwanise kuti uyende musho zapeza kuli chipoti yokusuka
ibamge road kubarerire subatulera twagomba kagana bali tufirite batubigireko manu kuza Mazabuka kusika ku Monze road tirika.
Today in the morning I hit a pothole just there. It was a series of 3 consecutive potholes and my tire burst. So now I have to change, go to Mazabuka, come back. It's been...
When contacted during the official launch of a toll plaza on the Great North Road in Mazabuka, RDA Regional Officer Namalala Jilala acknowledged the state of the road and said plans are underway to address the issue. For now, the Mazabuka-Monze road remains a serious danger to motorists due to the deep and sharp potholes scattered along the stretch. Helga Chibo, Diamond News, Mazabuka district in Southern Province.
Welcome back. Now, as schools open for the second term tomorrow, May 12, 2025, pupils who rely on the Kapaipi Bridge in Chinsale district can now cross with ease following significant progress in its construction. The bridge, funded under the 2023 CDF, had faced delays after the initial contractor's contract was terminated for failing to execute the works. A year later, the project has now advanced to a usable stage. Chinsale Ward Councillor Desmond Chanda confirmed that the bridge is now open and safe for use, assuring pupils and parents of secure passage as schools reopen.
It is a critical crossing point for pupils and other residents. The Kapaipi Bridge is critical as it also connects Ichinga and Chinsale wards. However, the bridge has for years been a source of worry due to its deplorable state. Users can now breathe a sigh of relief as works to rehabilitate the bridge are almost complete. We are happy to finally be able to cross this bridge without worrying about our safety, and especially the safety of our children, because this bridge is usually used by school-going children every day. Chinsale Ward Councillor says the delay in completing the bridge has been due to failure by the contractor that was earlier contracted to carry out construction works to complete the project.
This contract was given to a certain contractor in 2023, so it was supposed to be done in 2023. Now the contract had failed us, so we had now to engage another contractor. That is why you've seen the delayment in completion of this bridge.
Mr. Chanda states that he has been worried for the safety of his people.
With the coming of this bridge, I think there will be no difficulties in movements. There will be no difficulties of moving commodities from this place from east to other side. Yes, because even teachers who move from this area to this side, those who are going to Chinsale and those who are going to Mwala, it will be very easy for them. Yes, and what we are thinking, was that when we do an embankment, even the vehicles will be passing.
The progress that has been made in the construction of the bridge has happened at the right time when schools will be opening for the second term on Monday, 12th May 2025. Cecilia Kayamprokoso, Diamond News, Chinsadi, Mchinga Province.
Irrigation farmers in Ndele village of Razungula district, southern Zambia, are facing a growing locust population that is damaging their crops. Although authorities have not yet confirmed the presence of locusts in this area, farmers report challenges in managing the invasion of their vegetable crops. Meanwhile, a gradual decrease in temperatures is causing further concern for the farmers, who are now uncertain about the future of their livelihoods if both issues persist.
Limited irrigation support remains the primary challenge hindering irrigation farming in many agricultural communities. In Ndele community, a stream stew provides water to over 30 farmers who rely on it for their livelihoods. However, a locust invasion almost caused panic. Austin Majalua is one of the farmers affected by a locust invasion that has devastated most of his crops.
Impaso tulime magadi impaso ziatushupa chokuti mane ndendambora nde Austin nganda kachuri ejo kushita inganda tindichitirawa taona mburi kuti kashupe karoko.
Meanwhile, as temperatures gradually drop, farmers are also concerned about the possibility of frost that could negatively impact their harvests.
Zeni ndaula tumbuto ndatuvamba zeni chuma mpeyo tatalika ape kubyala muya achita muyali ampeyo utegwa mwendi twajana kuno opona.
Experts are urging farmers to be prepared with chemical treatments to address both the locust invasion and the threat of frost.
So ndikanda kuti vachita day atuma mburi guidelines goba gotoba parions akukwazilira itrisi mburi kuvi company ro usi mochite then arimi akumenyeshwa kuti around maybe midnight varatira ira usi akuma 04 kabompe normally bora kuma 04.
Currently, the future of irrigation farming hangs in the balance, along with the livelihoods of many individuals who depend on it for survival. Gabriel Jasas Moa, Diamond News, Southern Zambia.
Now, the advocates for national development and democracy have expressed elation over the steady progress in Zambia's mining sector. Speaking at a press briefing held in Lusaka, and Executive Director Samuel Banda stated that the organization is encouraged by recent developments at Konkola Copper Mines KCM. He commended Vedanta's commitment to settling $250 million in legacy debt and outstanding payments to suppliers. Mr. Banda noted that the resumption of operations at KCM has significantly contributed to Zambia's 12% increase in copper production. Meanwhile, governance activist Isaac Mwanza has urged KCM and other mining firms to empower local suppliers.
The resumption of operations at Konkola Copper Mine has significantly contributed to Zambia's 12% increase in copper production in 2024, reaching over 800,000 metric tons. And we are aware that plans are underway to further increase KCM's output to 300,000 metric tons per annum within the next 5 years, up from the current 200,000 metric tons. Similarly, Mopani Copper Mines, now under the management of International Resources, is targeting a production increase to 200,000 metric tons within 3 years. Fellow citizens, the increased copper production has already begun to positively impact our economy. The kwacha has started appreciating against the US dollar, currently trading at 26.7.
These investors, big investors, such as KCM, Mopani, and others, must reach out to small-scale miners and work with them, build their local capacity to mine. The resources which they are mining in this country and making profits from belong to the Zambian people, belong to the small-scale miners. You can imagine in Rufunsa, where gold is found, people have to be displaced, and a bigger investor has to come in and make profits out of it. Yet a local person who was sitting on that gold is robbed of any income.
Zambians themselves need to venture into the mining sector. Now, we are happy that government actually has come up with what is known as the deal room. This is to connect local mining license holders to financially sound foreign investors to run the mining.
We take our last set of commercials. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, says it will finish transporting the remaining 15,000 metric tons of maize from Tanzania by the end of this month. FRA Board Chairperson Suresh Desai says 180,000 metric tons of the 195,000 metric tons procured by government has already arrived in Zambia, easing the threat of hunger. He made the remarks during the launch of a new fleet of FRA trucks in Lusaka. Desai also disclosed that 14 million empty grain bags have been positioned ahead of the marketing season, with 1,400 satellite depots set to open and over 14,000 workers to be engaged nationwide.
Tanzania's maize lifeline is almost fully delivered. Out of the 195,000 metric tons sourced by the Zambian government to cushion the country from food shortages, the Food Reserve Agency says 180,000 have already landed and the last leg is underway.
The allegations that the money had been paid and after that the maize was not being brought in and that the money was chewed by people. This was all wrong, totally wrong and false. The maize has been moving, and as of now, as we are here now, out of the 195,000 tons which government paid for to the Tanzanian authorities, 180,000 tons has already come into Zambia. And between September and today, this is the figure, 180,000 tons has already come into the country. Now there is about 15,000 tons which are remaining. We cannot fail to bring that maize in. I think during this month we will finish that.
And as the market season beckons, preparations are ramping up. 14 million empty grain bags have been distributed with over 1,400 satellite depots set to open across the country. The agency says over 14,000 personnel will be deployed to manage this year's buying season.
You will keep farmers more happy if the price that you are going to announce next week or the other week will be very good. We are looking forward to not less than 300 kwacha a bag. Let me preempt what farmers are thinking. But if it is closer to 400, we will be extremely happy.
To ease logistics, a new fleet of trucks and motor vehicles has hit the road.
It's my belief and my understanding that with this support now, instances of post-harvest losses that arise from the stock that is in far-flying areas will be a thing of the past.
As anticipation grows over this year's maize floor price, farmers and buyers alike are waiting on one final figure. With logistics falling into place and markets set to open, the big question now is at what price will Zambia buy its golden grain? Best Jerry, Diamond News.
The Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance Zambia, CSO-SUN, has reiterated the need for more awareness on nutrition in Zambia. At a media post-engagement meeting on nutrition for growth N4G, CSO-SUN country coordinator Daniel Kalala told Diamond News that nutrition is at the center of every individual's development. Mr. Kalala has since urged the media to partner with government and CSOs in promoting awareness on nutrition.
For the body to survive, it needs food, but not just food or good nutrition. Different organizations working with the government have since been advancing efforts in attaining good nutrition. Following the recent Nutrition for Growth N4G summit that took place last month in Paris, France, from the 27th to 28th March 2025, Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance Zambia CSO-SUN organized a media post-summit engagement meeting in Lusaka. In her presentation, Lusaka Apex University Head of Nutrition and Dietetics, Grace Musawa Kalanga, emphasized the need to be intentional on spreading information on nutrition.
We need to discourage and we need to promote healthy eating. We need to promote our local foods. How many of us have seen the Zambia Food-Based Dietary Guidelines? That's a good book, and it's something that is just sitting in people's offices, in shelves. Yes, the Commission is spreading it, but we also need if each one of us can spread that information.
The National Food and Nutrition Commission reiterated government's commitment to spreading awareness on nutrition.
Right now, we're trying to use different platforms, different forums, and we have a situation where we have structures for coordination at district level that have been put in place. So as I indicated, we have the district nutrition coordinating committees in all the districts, of course, working very closely with the DDCCs and other district and provincial structures to ensure that, everybody who needs to be on that table is speaking to each other.
And CSO-SUN country coordinator Daniel Kalala emphasized the media's role in awareness on good nutrition.
There is need, I think, as the media, we as the civil society, everybody has to play a role to educate each other on what constitutes a good diet. It's only then that actually we can also start demanding for also better policies to support what we want.
According to CSO-SUN, 48% of the population in Zambia still live in poverty, hence not being able to meet their nutritional needs. Joseph Kaputula, Diamond News.
And now in sports news, two Zambian mixed martial arts MMA fighters Miracle Chipito and Tryford Mwanga recorded two podium finishes at the ongoing 2025 IMMAF African Championship in Luanda, Angola. Chipito stunned fans and opponents alike with a brilliant first-round technical knockout against her opponent Helena Josefina Sachilombo from Angola, finishing the bout in just 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Tryford Mwanga secured Zambia's first silver by a split decision after defeating Wilson Manuel of Angola. The African Championships commenced on 4th May 2025, with the finals being held today, 10th May 2025.
I knew it because I was fighting for my country, for my sisters, the girls who doesn't have so much faith and confidence in themselves. I urge them to join mixed martial arts. It will give them so much confidence. Look, I grew up in the village and God brought me here. Dedication, hard.
So the finals are being held today, 11th May, and not 10th May 2025. That's all I had for you on the Diamond Newsdesk at 8. My name is Togozile Malawi. Pleasant viewing.